My name is Rohit Jagran. I work for a radio station, City 1316 right here on the Mike. I do the evening show and I also make films. This particular film that just won the award for the best film at the 48-hour film project, I produced it, I edited it, and I was a cinematographer as well. That's it, that's me. Oh, I do stand-up comedy as well. So basically what happened was over the last few years I've been doing a lot of photography, and while I've been doing a lot of photography I've also been doing videos with the photos and stuff like that, because they're very similar skills. They're not exactly the same, but they're very similar. So I've been making a lot of videos for like work, like little music video or some clips and stuff like that. Then of course over a period of time I've met a lot of people who want to do films, who want to do interesting stuff. And then suddenly I get a random call from Kalyan one day, says, there's this 48-hour film project, where you got to make a short film in 48 hours. So I was like, you know what? I think I can assemble a team to be able to do this. So we put two and two together, and we got a team together. That's how it came about, actually. I do not waste a single moment in my day doing something I'm not entirely 100% passionate about. If there's anything, I feel that I spend so much time doing these things, it takes hours and hours and hours. If I did not have the passion, I wouldn't do this. Really, this is what I want to do. This is what I love doing. See, it's not, if you're asking, it's not a film with a moral. At least the way I see it, it's a horror film. Let's get this straight. We picked up a lot. The way the 48-hour film project works is there are different genres you can choose from, so you just pick a lot. When we picked ours, it said horror. We had a choice of putting it back and taking another one, but we decided no, we're going to do horror. Then of course you get another character who has to be in the film, and there's some character traits, and they give you a prop that has to be in the film. So here's a question a lot of people ask us: is there some subtle thing that you're trying to convince? Is there multiple layers to the film? Hell yeah, there are multiple layers. You know what? Every day, in fact, what's scary is when I watch the film again and again, and I love to be there when people are watching the film. So we'll be previewing the film and I'll be watching it and I'm watching people's reactions, and I realize that people understand things differently, and that's when I realized there are multiple interpretations to the same thing, and it's brilliant. I'd love to give you some interpretations, but I'd rather you watch the film.
Sure, okay, so SOLUS is it's a 7-minute thriller / horror film that we made for the 48-hour film festival. And so I just moved to Dubai a month ago, and I was just settling in, hanging out, and Rohit called me the other day and he's like, hey, I have this exciting project, do you want to be a part of it? And Rohit and I have spoken about doing something together, because I made a short film last year that I sent to him, and so anyway, so I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So I've been a part of the 48-hour film festival before in San Francisco. I took part earlier this year, so I was the only one who had some experience, and we had a sit down where I was telling all of them all about the 48-hour film festival based on my one single experience that I had with the festival, and that's it. So we formed a team, and that was pretty much it. It's about this guy who's moved to Dubai recently. He's moved into a new apartment, into a new house. He's all by himself. So at some level, I guess the film's about loneliness, and it's about being alone and being vulnerable in that situation. And the lead character is alone at home, and he goes through a series of paranormal experiences, I guess you might, if you want to call it that. And the whole film is just him and the box, and then so I guess at a different level it's focusing on the loneliness that everyone faces, and it talks about fear as being a very primal instinct that everyone goes through, and then when you are different people react to different emotions in different ways. You're more likely to share certain emotions, and you're more likely to internalize certain emotions, and I think fear is one such emotion that people are more likely to internalize rather than share. And so this film's about him being just by himself and coming to terms with this one thing that scares him. And then in the end of the film, I'm not going to reveal the twist, but it sort of wraps up the whole aspect of being alone and sharing this by yourself, because it sort of gives it an interesting twist to it. So you're probably not as alone as you think you are. It's a little hint to how the film ends. Well, I mean, so this is my second film, and I made my first film earlier this year, and it was pretty much like this. I was at home in Bangalore and sitting around, and I always had this idea that I wanted to work on, so I just called up a friend and I was like, hey, do you want to do this with me? And he was like, sure. And we did it over a weekend. It was as simple as that. And the film was, I milked the film for all it was worth, sent it to a lot of film festivals, it got accepted, screened all over. We won this UTV short film competition in India, so it went well. But I think the easiest thing is to just get off your ass and do it, get off your behind and do it. And I think a lot of people, they have a passion, or they have a curiosity towards something, and people just don't do it. It's always like, oh hey, you know what, maybe someday I'll do it. So just stop thinking about that someday and just do it. It's the simplest way to find out whether you like something or not.
Okay, Rohit is my colleague in City 1016. So I am working as a production team in City. So Rohit came up with an idea of doing a 48-hour film project, and he knows me well, that how well we do stuff together to make it a good output. So when he suggested the project, I was thinking like, I have no confidence because it's just 48 hours and we have to finish it, complete the script, the story, cinematography, editing, sound, music, everything within 48 hours. So it was like unbelievable for me. I have done the music as well as with my colleague Bipin, who also took part in the project, and I have done the sound design as well. Yeah, as soon as we saw the script, it's like little mysterious, little horror, spooky subject. So I thought, okay, it's not supposed to be a very happy, enthusiastic stuff. It should be little mysterious. Like the notes and the scales should be mystery.
We got to know about this project from a friend of mine, and I randomly called up Rohit and we discussed over the phone, and we just decided we'll go on board. Not for anything, but just for the sheer experience of doing something in 48 hours, taking up this challenge and creating a film, 7 minutes film in 48 hours. I'm the director of the movie. My background, I've worked on a couple of features and short films earlier, but mostly on production side. But I always had this thing to kind of direct a movie sometime, and SOLUS has become the debut film. So I'm so happy that it's a debut film, and it's also won the best film of the 48 Hours Film Project. There's so much unsaid, so people can carry a lot of thoughts after they finish the film. One, and two is there is two ways of showing horror, and we try to play more with the fear. So I think you would be more afraid of something which is unknown rather than something very horrific coming right onto your face. So that's what we wanted, and that's what we got on the film. And I think the reaction from the audience also was exactly what we wanted.